running this morning with most of the fleet anchored within the confines of the harbor. The Imperial Japanese Navy approaches and launches 183 fighters and bombers toward Pearl Harbor. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine yourself a soldier or a sailor or an airman. You're looking forward to a pleasant Sunday in the peaceful Hawaiian Islands. Perhaps you're going to the beach. Perhaps you're going to take a hike up into the mountains and have a picnic with your girlfriend. You may be just going to kind of tidy up around the barracks and maybe on board ship and get ready for the next week. You had no idea what the Imperial Japanese Navy had planned. They were coming our way, and we had no way to know. It's 7:55 a.m. It's a peaceful Sunday morning on December 7th of 1941, and we've taken you back to that peaceful day over 70 years ago when the Imperial Japanese Navy launches 183 fighters and bombers toward Pearl Harbor. So confident are the attackers of total surprise that as they approach the island, the coded signal indicating a totally successful raid is flashed back to the carrier task force before the first bomb falls. Tora! 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 Tiger! 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 A single remote radar station had spotted the incoming raiders, but mistook them for a flight of B-17s due in from the mainland. The B-17 survived, and like America itself, find themselves in the middle of a war that had not been officially declared. The attack from the Japanese aircraft carriers Akaga, Hiryu, Soryu, and two new carriers, the Shogaku and Suikoku, lasts an hour and 45 minutes. The Japanese caught us completely by surprise, and you are there. This is Tora, 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 the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. When the first bombs began to fall, Army Air Corps pilots Kenneth Taylor and George Welch were just returning from a night on the town and raced to their P-40 Warhawks. The planes were fueled and armed for aerial combat practice, and the pilots soon found themselves in the middle of the real thing. These two brave lieutenants caught up with these Japanese in Iwa, Marine Base and Auxiliary Field, close to Pearl Harbor. Taylor and Welch quickly ran out of ammo, landed at Wheeler Field, refueled, reloaded, and took off to fight again. These two brave pilots are credited with downing 6 Japanese aircraft before their own planes were disabled. The B-17s begin to arrive and find no place to land. At Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field, the devastation was awesome. Along the eastern edge of Ford Island, a whole fleet of our ships lay at berth. The Cates came by with the torpedo bombers. You see one going in front of you right now. They were equipped with special shallow-running torpedoes designed specifically for the attack on Pearl Harbor. You see, the shallow waters at Pearl Harbor would now allow the use of normal torpedoes. This one fact alone helped determine that this was an attack that had been planned well in advance. After the torpedo bombers came the Val dive bombers. You saw one just dive down a moment ago, armed with 1,600 armor-piercing shells made for 16-inch battleship guns, but converted to aerial bombs. These planes dived down on the Nevada and the Arizona. Anti-aircraft fire veered the bombers away from the Nevada on the first wave, but the Arizona wasn't that lucky. A bomb stabbed the Arizona through her forward magazine and exploded, touching off more than 1 million pounds of gunpowder. You can imagine what it would been like as the Vile dives down right now. A sailor on the Nevada was watching and saw the Arizona jump at least 15 to 20 feet up in the water and break in two. The ship sank in less than 3 minutes, forever entrapping 1,200 American servicemen in a watery grave. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it was like on that fateful Sunday morning, December 7th of 1941. You can imagine what it must have been like with 183 fighters and bombers of Japan's First Air Fleet. The Japanese Zeros on strafing runs. The Kate torpedo bombers dropping those shallow-running torpedoes high overhead. The Val dive bombers diving down with those special armor-piercing projectiles. Yes, this is Tora, 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 the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. At Bellows Field, on the northeast coast of the island, 4 U.S. Army Air Corps pilots were racing to their B-40s. B-17's trying to land. That B-17 just got one gear down. the B-17s arrived and were shot at by friend and foe. Just as the P-40s were getting off the ground at Bellows Field, the Zeros appeared. One P-40 pilot was killed as he stepped into his cockpit. 200 P-40s were down just as they got off the ground. The flight of 16 B-17s from the mainland arrived and are attacked by the marauding Japanese Zeros. In the confusion, the B-17 you saw just go by were shot at by friend and foe, and the frightened crews landed wherever they could, one of them in a pineapple field not far from Hickam Field. One B-17 pilot, a Major Landon, trying to land, said, "What a hell of a way to enter a war, out of gas, unarmed, and no place to land." 8 of the B-17s actually made it to Hickam Field, adjacent to Pearl Harbor. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing a recreation of that surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Tora, 183 fighters and bombers. You can see the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk simulating those 2 brave pilots that were able to get up into the air that day, but they weren't able to do much damage against 183 fighters and bombers of Japan's First Air Fleet. You see the Zeros continuing to do their strafing runs, while to the right, the Cape torpedo bombers diving down again, and high overhead, the Val dive bombers. Yes, this is Tora, the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, and we've taken you back to that fateful day of December 7th, 1941. You are there. To your left, the B-17 coming in for one more attempted landing, simulating all of those B-17 pilots that were surprised at coming in from the mainland and finding themselves in the middle of a war that they had no idea had even started. Once again, only one gear down on the B-17 coming in to the left, looking for a place to land. Somebody shoot off a flare. Don't let the pilots land that B-17 with just one gear down. See if he can get the gear down on the other side so he can bring it down in a safe way. 8 of the 16 B-17s that came in from the mainland actually were able to land at Hickam Field. Yes, you were watching that infamous day of December 7th, 1941. Tora, the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor that brought us into full participation in World War II. The Japanese caught us completely by surprise that fateful morning. And you are there for that fateful morning. As you see the planes of the Tora group flying in front of you, you can imagine what it must have been like that fateful morning where there were 183 of the planes just like the ones you see in front of you right now, flying, pounding Pearl Harbor, Hickam Field, and all of the Hawaiian Islands. The Japanese caught us completely by surprise. Tora was the call before the first bomb fell. Tiger. They caught us by surprise, and they knew they had done so and sent that call back to their carrier task force, letting them know that they caught us by surprise. This is December 7th of 1941, and you are there to that fateful morning. Ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, more than half of America's entire naval fleet had been destroyed or damaged. Nearly 2,400 Americans were killed, over 1,200 wounded, 960 were missing. 151 aircraft were destroyed, most as they sat on the ground. That was virtually every U.S. military aircraft in Hawaii. 2 battleships, 3 destroyers, 2 light cruisers were destroyed. 6 battleships were damaged. Our greatest naval base lay in ruins, along with our complacency. The following day, December 8, 19